This is Tempest should I be doing part 2 to What If Naruto was an assassin, where we left off. I explained what skills Naruto has. He passed the bell test. Was about to go to the land of Wazelark. So let's get right into it. So Naruto has been waiting a while. He got there earlier than anyone else. He was waiting at the north gate, waiting for everyone to arrive so they can leave and accomplish their mission. A couple minutes later, Team 7, Kakashi, Sakura, Sasuke, and Tazuna finally arrived, and Kakashi asked how long he's been waiting here. Naruto said not too long, just a couple minutes. Kakashi nodded in understanding, and they left and they started the mission. Naruto was on guard, knowing that if you let down your guard for a second, that could be the end of you. So he has to keep himself focused and on guard. Then after they left and after a while, they reached the forest, and Naruto noticed two puddles, and they didn't seem to make sense. It hasn't rained in a while. Why are there two puddles here? There shouldn't be. So Naruto decided that he will be on guard just in case it wasn't nothing important. But then he decided that he would rather be safe than sorry, so he decided to use his sensing abilities to check out the puddles. He noticed that there were two chakra signatures coming from the puddles. But he decided not to do anything until he knows their skills and weaknesses. But in this case, he couldn't. So Naruto decided that this isn't a time to hang back and watch and see their opponent's skills and weaknesses. So he pulls out so he decides that he shall say that he will go and make an excuse to go and kill them. Naruto said, I had to go to the bathroom. Kashi nodded. Naruto went, and this made the Chunin brothers have a chance to go kill Naruto. But unfortunately, they didn't know that Naruto was a top-rate assassin. So the Demon Brothers thought they snuck up on Naruto, but the reality, that was just a shadow clone. The real Naruto was behind him, and he then chopped back of their necks, knocking them out, dragged them back to Kakashi, and said, Kakashi, do your thing. And Naruto was going to do this to himself, but he doesn't really want to reveal too much of his abilities. So after Kakashi interrogated the Demon Brothers, which they didn't do at first, but then after a little bit of persuasion, Kakashi got them to talk. Then he decided. Then Naruto took the initiative and asked Tazuna if all what they said was true, and Tazuna then explained in more detail than the Demon Brother did about his village is poor, and that he's building a bridge, and that a person named Gato, who didn't want to build the bridge and hired ninjas to assassinate him. And Naruto just said that this is higher than a C rank. Kashi said, of course there's two tuning level ninjas just attacked us. And Naruto said, you don't have to be so sassy, Kakashi. Is it because you lost? Kashi just didn't say anything to that. And then Naruto apologized, knowing that Kashi didn't mean it that way. It's just Naruto's become a little feisty. When someone insults him, he insults them back. So he apologized to Kakashi, knowing that Kakashi didn't mean it as disrespectful. So Naruto said that he would like to continue the mission, knowing that he's taking up. This isn't really that big of a deal for him. He's taking up higher ranked missions than this before. It's not a big deal. So he said, I would like to continue this. And Kakashi then asked the other team members, knowing that knowing that he can just, if one of the team members says yes, it doesn't mean the others will. So Kakashi asks Sakura and Sasuke, and they say Sasuke says yes, and then Sakura, being Sakura, says yes because Sasuke said yes. So they continue on the mission. Naruto now high alert, knowing that there might be higher ranked ninjas in tuning level. So he kept his senses sharp, and he noticed that there was a presence. And then he looked, and there was just a great rabbit. But he was confident in his abilities that there was a person. So he grabbed some of his weapons. He grabbed some of Senbon that usually were difficult for people to use. But this wasn't that hard. Naruto used Senbons. He liked Senbons. They were nice, precise. They were precise, and they could you could kill or not kill. They could do a lot of things with them. So he took a liking to the Senbon. So he took out some Senbon, ready to attack if needed, if he needed to. Then Naruto noticed there was a fog picking up, and that with his hearing, he heard a slight whooshing. I don't even know. The wind picking up, or hearing a slight noise that reminds him of when you throw a blade and the wind picks up. But from how much noise there was coming off, this must be a big blade. So Naruto said that they should avoid that. Then Kakashi noticed, and he said duck, and Naruto just he already moved out of the way, so he didn't need to duck. Then Zabuza was on top of the blade. Naruto then threw some Senbon. Zabuza then moved out of the way to avoid the Senbon. Zabuza was quite familiar with Senbon because Haku uses Senbon, so I would assume that he knows how to avoid them. Then Zabuza noticed Kakashi of the copy ninja, yeah, and then he noticed Naruto. And he didn't know why, but he felt like he's heard of him before. They said there's been a new assassin with yellow hair. And he just felt a presence around Naruto, feeling like he's different, stronger than he seems. Let's see, what's a good nickname for Naruto? I don't know. I'll decide that later. So, Zabuza, putting the thoughts that Naruto might be a very strong assassin, puts those thoughts aside in the back of his head, and focuses on Kakashi. So then Kakashi and Zabuza start having a hand-to-hand fight like in Dayton Canon. Kakashi got captured. Naruto just didn't know what to say. He thought Kakashi would be stronger and that he wouldn't be captured so easily. But then he noticed that he would have to intervene, hoping that he wouldn't. He doesn't want to show off too much of his skills, knowing that if someone knows too much about an assassin's skills, that could be bad, knowing that they could identify who's the assassin. No, everyone knows that there's a new assassin and it has yellow hair, but no one knows the person's face. No one knows the name. No one knows their age, their gender. They just know that it has yellow hair. And so Naruto decides that he would intervene, and he threw multiple senbon. He threw multiple senbon at Zabuza. So Zabuza does dodge without letting go of Kakashi in the water prison. He managed to do that, but before he could, but that was just a distraction on Naruto's part. Naruto was just threw the Senbon as a distraction, so he could advance, so he could attack Zabuza into close combat. So that's what he's doing. Naruto is proficient with using wind style and pretty good with the other chakra natures. Also, leave some comments about what you want me to do, and if you want me to do more videos, because I've been really tired lately and haven't been eating properly, so yeah, sorry for less videos lately. It'll fix itself eventually. Just give me some time. So Naruto went to close the gap in distance, and to do some hand-to-hand combat using some other weapons as well. So as he got once he was right next to Zabuza, they went into hand-to-hand combat. But he went right through the water clone, and Zabuza couldn't keep up with Naruto with just one hand. Zabuza noticed that this kid he was strong. He didn't know how strong, but he was strong, and he couldn't keep up with just one of his hand, being a bit undisposed in the moment. He's not being able to use his both hands, and that was causing quite a bit of trouble for him. Naruto right now, what he was doing was putting blades, was using wind chakra to put around his hands, so using his hands as a blade. So every time Zabuza tried to block, he would get cut with Naruto's hands. Or when he had a fist, he would still get cut, being pierced by some wind that he couldn't see. Where Naruto hit him. So Zabuza had no choice but to let go of Kakashi, knowing that if he didn't, he would be killed before he could kill the Naruto. So he let go of Kakashi, and it was a give and take. Like, if he didn't, he would be killed, and if he did, he would be against 2-on-1. So it was a lose-lose situation. But at least with fighting 2-on-1, he could would have a chance. So Naruto then, knowing Kakashi was free, let Kakashi recover for a bit, and then went for long range attacks. So he started using he did wind style, air bullets. Zabuza dodged these, but by dodging the air bullets, he got hit by Naruto's wind style vacuum bullets. And these were more powerful than the air bullets. And this did cause quite a bit of damage to Zabuza. And this gave enough time for Kakashi to go and let Kakashi recover. And then he went going back to hand-to-hand combat, pulled out his Sharingan and went hand-to-hand combat against Zabuza. But Naruto pulled out some Senbon and decided to throw him at Zabuza to cause him to not kill him, just do the thing Haku did. But before he could have done that, Haku did it. Haku used his Senbon to make Zabuza in a near death or death-like state. Naruto saw that Kakashi was pretty exhausted and knew that Kakashi was pretty exhausted, but he knew that didn't kill him, because Naruto was very good in Senbon and most weapons, and knew that Senbon didn't kill him, just like death-like state. So he went to fight Haku, but that was a bad move. In the water, if you guys remember, Zabuza got hit in the water. Haku has an ice release, so I would assume that we were in the water. So Haku used her ice release to cause spikes from the water to turn to ice to kill Naruto. Naruto dodged barely on he didn't think that the opponent in front of him had a Genkai. And knowing that was an ice release, being in the water was bad. So he tried to get out of the water, but Haku didn't let him do this, and did more attacks and pressured Naruto to retreating onto land. But this was a good thing. Haku using his time that he bought, decided to pick up Zabuza and carry him away. Naruto was about to go chase, but knew that this would be bad, that he couldn't just leave his team practically undefended, 2 Genin and 1 Jonin that was very exhausted. So he let Zabuza and Haku escape. And after that, Tazuna decided that, I say decided a lot. Where was I? Oh, yes. Tazuna told them that if they wanted a place to stay, they could stay at his place for a while until Kakashi recovered. Naruto agreed to this, being the unofficial team leader. Unofficial but official team leader. Now that Kakashi's sort of passed out. This made Sasuke really mad, saying that Naruto, a kid that wasn't that special in the academy, he was average. He was average at everything, if I remember correctly. Is that what I said? I probably said that. If I didn't, I said it now. That this kid the same age as him, was stronger than him, and Sasuke, being a spoiled brat, was thinking that he shouldn't have that power, that all that power should be his. He is an elite, an Uchiha. Naruto had a feeling that Sasuke was, what's the word? Yes. Corrupt, entitled, a brat. So he decided to ignore everything Sasuke tried every time, So every time that Sasuke tried to insult Naruto just ignored him. Naruto was gonna insult him back, but he noticed as if he ignored, the more he ignored Sasuke, the more Sasuke got mad. So he just needed to ignore him, which wasn't too difficult. And this was their whole gimmick. Sasuke insulted Naruto. Naruto ignored him, not even paying attention, not giving him any time whatsoever. Once they got to Tazuna's house, they let Kakashi rest up for a while. They had food. They slept through the night, which Naruto felt uncomfortable sleeping in someone else's bed. So, in someone else's house, not someone else's bed, sorry. So he went outside and slept on a tree. He felt much more comfortable sleeping on a tree. This was one of his trainings. He would have to survive in the wilderness by himself. So he actually thought it was nice sleeping on trees in nature. So he didn't. So yeah, he actually liked being on a tree. He felt free. Um, and this was a good exercise. So he had like he was still aware, asleep but still aware. So nothing sneaked up on him. It was the next day. They were all looking for Naruto, and then Naruto walked through the front door, and they asked, "Where were you?" Naruto said, I was on a tree sleeping." And Sakura asked, "Isn't that uncomfortable?" Naruto said, "No, it's actually pretty pleasant." Sakura just smiled, and she didn't believe him, and she said, "Yeah, right." And Naruto just said, "Don't don't say anything until you've tried it." You know. And that's the same day, Kakashi decided that he would train his two genin, three genin technically, that he would train his genin. He trained them tree walking, and Naruto just Sasuke didn't get it. Sakura almost got it the first try, and then Sasuke, the first time he did it, he just climbed up with his hands, climbed the tree, and then Naruto showed him how it was actually supposed to do it. You're supposed to use your chakra, and then he told him, "Teach me how, you dope," and or something like that. Sasuke being Sasuke. Um. Mm, so Naruto just ignored him like he usually did. That's his thing now. Just doesn't give any attention to Sasuke. Because if he gives Sasuke attention, that he would keep doing it. This is not the main rule with class clowns. If you give them attention, they'll keep doing it. Just don't pay attention. Just don't give them attention. So back to story. Enough rambling. Sorry. Naruto just ignored Sasuke. Kakashi asked, "Where did you learn that?" Naruto just said, "Cut the shit. You know what my family is. You don't have to pretend." Kakashi just, nodded in agreement. They both know that he's just acting. They both know that Naruto's clan is a clan of assassins, and that he's the heir. So there's no point of acting surprised. He also saw, his skills. Naruto just went back and decided that he shall try to come up with strategies and prepare. That was the only thing he could do. He could train, but he doesn't really find a point. He doesn't have anything to train. He could train on other jutsus, but he feels like he doesn't. He wants to get stronger, but but right now he's more focused on planning a strategy, and that he should find a way to counter the ice release. No, but still doesn't know the full extent of his opponent's abilities. So he should just be aware of the plan, not try to follow it through and through. Naruto comes up the plan, knowing that he should try to get his opponent, because I don't think he knows if it's a boy or a girl. That's why I'm saying his opponent. So Naruto comes up with a plan to distract his opponent and get his opponent somewhere. I'm just gonna say him. Get him to a place where there's less water, thinking that should help, but I don't think it will. That he should find a way to make his opponent distracted and end it quickly. So Naruto, that's what he did the whole day. Sakura got it the second try. Sasuke spent the whole day still trying to find out. Later that night, Inari, just being Inari, being a spoiled brat, said that he had a bad life, that there is no such thing as heroes. Naruto just didn't say anything because he doesn't believe in heroes. Like, if you want to be a hero, go for it, man. This is what Naruto's saying is like, if you want to be a hero, just go for it. If there's no such thing as heroes, then there's no such thing as villains. And Naruto said, this doesn't make sense. Naruto said exactly. So what you're saying doesn't make sense either. They are heroes. You just need to find them. Naruto was just didn't believe in his words, but he's like, why? He might believe it. Because people can be heroes if they want to, just like, you know. So then Naruto just kept eating his food because he was quite hungry. And they slept that night, and now it's the next day, and Naruto, felt a presence fairly, very familiar, and woke up the others. Kakashi was already sort of, like a couple days passed already, like, okay. And then they were about, Kakashi was almost fully healed, basically, and Zabuza was basically fully healed as well. So they came to attack. Naruto woke up, sensing a very familiar presence. He woke up the others. They all went to the bridge, killing some of the thugs along the way. And they saw Zabuza and Haku there. The fight goes pretty... Haku versus Naruto fight. Naruto tried to guide Haku somewhere else and without too much water, but knowing that Haku was not gonna give him the chance to do this, Sasuke, trying to prove that he's something, decides to be all cocky and try to take Haku by himself. This gets Sasuke wrecked. He gets a bunch of Senbon inside of him. Naruto just takes up Sasuke and pushes out the way of the demonized mirrors. Naruto was just watching along the sidelines. Sasuke didn't want him to intervene. Sakura was screaming at Naruto to help Sasuke. Sasuke was screaming Naruto not to do anything. Naruto just didn't do anything. It's like, you don't want my help? Fine. He's like, you okay? You don't want my help? So, and this distracted Kakashi, hearing all this screaming. And but this only happened for a half a second, but this was enough to turn the tide with Kakashi. Zabuza took advantage of that half a second that Kakashi spent, giving him the upper hand for now. But Kakashi quickly recovered, and the fight continued same. And then Naruto, after Sasuke got wrecked, so Naruto decided that he should find a way to counter this jutsu. Jutsu. So Naruto tried fire release and didn't do anything. Then he tried, cutting it with wind release, shattering it with fire, wind, earth. I'm gonna restart this. He tried melting it with fire style, and then try to cut it in half with wind style, and then try to crush it with earth style, and then lightning style just went right through it because it's ice. Tried water, but he didn't think that it would help anyway, so there was no choice, but he decided to jump in, knowing that he would have to take out the person casting the jutsu. So Naruto, right after Naruto got inside the mirrors, Haku threw a bunch of Senbon. Naruto easily dodged all these, and Haku threw even more, twice as many. Naruto still dodged, but got hit on the shoulder. This made his shoulder a bit paralyzed. His shoulder got he couldn't move it properly. He didn't have as much flexibility as he did. So he pulled out the Senbon, and then he moved it around, and then he fixed it sort of. It was still sore and a bit shaky, but it was fine. Then Haku threw more Senbon. Naruto was not gonna take any of this, so he did Fire Star for Jutsu, making a pretty big pretty big fireball, burning all the Senbon. Then Naruto, with his heightened eyesight, which he does have, he has pretty good senses all around. Using his exceptional eyesight, noticed that he only saw a blur, but this was enough. He couldn't see Haku perfectly, but a blur was enough. So Naruto just pulled out the weapons that he had in the scroll. The scroll was not that big, but was still pretty. No, it wasn't huge, but had a pretty good size to it. Pulled out a scroll that he usually had on him, and summoned all these shuriken, kunai, and he just threw them all around, hoping that he would hit, knowing that this is just futile attempt. And Haku just dodged all of them, but this was what Naruto wanted. Naruto went inside and sorry, wrong thing. So Naruto then, with the blur he saw, tackled Haku to the floor. This was a just pure luck right here, pure luck. If Naruto had more experience, maybe he could have done something better, but this was pure luck. This was pure luck. Just gonna say it again, pure luck. This was his goal, but he didn't think it actually would work. He tackled Haku, breaking his mask, and Naruto then just tied him up, and he wanted to get some information, knowing where, because the person, he knows that someone hired him and hired them to assassinate Tazuna. So, if Naruto wants to find out where that person is and stop them, then that would be better. So, he decides that to leave Haku to interrogate later. Well, he was going to do that later, but never mind. He does it now. Does the genjutsu and goes inside Haku's brain, trying to find out what he can. He figures out what Gato is planning, and then right after he finds out, he just kills Haku. This is not, Naruto has killed more people, so this is not something new. But Naruto this was just a what's it called when someone was imagining something? Killing Haku was just his imagination. He decided not to. There's no real point. He was no threat. And then he just watched. Then Zabuza got killed. Haku was super sad and was about to try to escape, but then Haku escaped, did escape. This gave Naruto no choice and threw a couple Senbons at Haku, killing Haku. Then Gato and his men got there, and Gato started kicking Haku and Zabuza's corpse. No one really cared. And Naruto's a bit colder than his canon counterpart, so he did care a bit, but not really. He was debating. He's like, fine, I'll just do this later. And then Naruto he started the fight and pulled out his scythe that he did have. It was one of his biggest weapons. And so he put out his scythe and just started slicing people's heads off. He controlled his anger, because this is an assassin Naruto. He controlled his anger when he saw someone disrespecting his opponents. When he fought someone, he gave him respect. It's like he respected his opponents. So seeing someone disrespect their opponents, which once was a person. This Naruto still has some original Naruto feelings and way of thinking. So he kills all of them by himself. Not a real problem. Gato thought he was safe, but then Naruto just let out some of his bloodlust while he was killing his men. This made Gato unintentionally just step back. As the closer Naruto got, the more scared Gato got, the more he wanted to run away. But his body just didn't move. He just couldn't move. He was so scared he couldn't move. By the time Naruto got killed all of Gato's men, Gato was just on the ground, on his knees, begging for forgiveness, saying, "I'll give you anything." Naruto's with his cold, lifeless eyes. This was a skill Naruto learned. This Naruto had learned how to make lifeless eyes, showing no emotion at all. With Naruto's cold, lifeless, no emotion eyes just looked at Gato. This made Gato even more scared than he was. Then Kakashi called Naruto. Naruto looked at Kakashi, and Kakashi was just took a step back, just by pure instinct, looking at what Naruto's eyes were. And he also looked at Sakura and Sasuke. They were scared, super scared, And then Naruto just cut off Gato's head. Blood spilled all over Naruto's face. Naruto's eyes gained back some of their life and color and emotion. And then Sasuke hated Naruto a lot more, but was scared of him. Sakura was scared of him and then called him a monster. Naruto didn't really care. That he didn't care what she thought, as long if she was a friend, then he would have cared. But he didn't think of Sakura as a friend. He only had a couple friends, and Sakura wasn't it. He liked his best friend that he would consider his best friend was Shikamaru. They had similar tastes. They both were pretty smart. They both were calculated. They both had stick to the plan until they didn't need to, and couldn't. They had, they got along pretty well. He had Choji, with Choji, his happy, lucky go attitude, sort of. This was a change of pace to Naruto, but it was a good change of pace. It was a different vibe that Choji gave, and this was a positive to Naruto. He had some other friends as well. He hated Kiba and Sasuke the most, but he didn't consider them as friends. He considered Kiba as a friend, just an annoying friend. The one that you have, but you're still friends with because they're annoying, but in a good way. And so, enough background. And so after all that, the bridge was still called the Great Naruto Bridge because that's a must. That's a must. The Great Naruto Bridge. And once they got back to the village, and they still took them. They still had 1 week to the tuning exams. Kakashi told him about the tuning exams. Naruto said, "Sure, why not?" Sasuke was trying to one-up Naruto and agreed. Sakura took her time. 2 days later, she said, "Okay." And Naruto decided that he will train more. Trying to train his body even more. And I don't know if I'm going to leave it off here. Let's see. This was Tempest Sage signing off.